Your golden retriever sits at your feet every time you eat, staring up at you. And you think they're begging. They're not. What your golden is really asking for has nothing to do with the food on your plate, and the last reason will change how you see it forever. Subscribe if you love your golden. I post these every few days. Let's get into it. Let's start with number 7, and to understand it, we have to go back further than your kitchen. Long before your golden ever sat at your feet during dinner, their ancestors evolved as pack animals. And in a pack, eating was never a private thing. It was a social event. Pack members watched each other eat. They sat near each other. They learned from the very moment food appeared that mealtime was the most important social ritual of the day. Your modern golden, sprawled on your kitchen tile, is running that same software. So when your dog appears at your feet the second your plate hits the table, you're not watching a beggar. You're watching an ancient instinct reach for one of the oldest social rituals dogs have. Food, in their wiring, is when the pack comes together. Of course they're there. Where else would they be? And here's the part that surprises people. Even a well-fed golden who has zero interest in stealing your dinner will still come and sit and stare. That tells you the stare isn't really about hunger. A hungry dog acts hungry. They pace, they whine, they paw.
A golden who walks calmly to your chair, sits, and just watches isn't acting like a starving animal. They're showing up for the ritual itself. Their bowl could be full. Their belly could be heavy. They'd still come. Because to them, mealtime is bigger than food. It always has been. And once you understand that they're showing up for the ritual, the next layer reveals what they're actually trying to be part of, which is number 6, and it has nothing to do with what's on your fork. Number 6, the instinct gets your golden to your feet, but what they're asking for, sitting there at your chair, isn't a bite, it's inclusion. To a golden, your meal is a moment when the family is gathered, even if the family is just the two of you. Plates are set, you sit down, you stay still for a while, and to a creature whose entire social structure runs on togetherness, that is exactly the kind of moment they refuse to miss. The stare is them saying, in their quiet golden way, I belong in this scene too. Watch what happens. A lot of owners assume the golden will leave once they realize no food is coming. They don't. They stay. They keep watching. They lie down at your feet and settle in, because it was never about the food being shared. It was about being in the gathering. Pack means with. With is the whole point. There's a reason this feels especially strong with goldens.
Goldens are one of the most family-oriented breeds you can have. They hate being separated from their people. They want to be in whatever room you're in. And the moment everyone sits down together is one of the most concentrated forms of family togetherness in their day. They are not going to spend that moment alone on the other side of the house. The stare isn't begging. The stare is showing up. Your golden has chosen again and again to be present at the most communal moment of your day. And once you see them as a quiet participant in your meal rather than a freeloader at your knee, the whole picture starts to shift. Because if they're here for inclusion and not the food, then what they're doing while they sit and watch is something most owners never realize. And that's where number 5 takes a sharper turn. Number 5, and this one genuinely catches people off guard. While your golden sits at your feet and stares, they are studying you closely. Mealtime is the rare moment when you are completely stationary, predictable, and giving off clear emotional signals. Your face is uncovered, your posture is relaxed, your mood is showing. For a creature whose whole life is built around reading you, that's gold. Goldens watch your micro-expressions during meals. They notice if you sigh. They notice if you're hunched. They notice if you're laughing with someone at the table or eating in tense silence. To a golden, this is a daily snapshot of how their person is doing.
They are running a check. Are you okay? Are you happy? Should I worry? Should I lean in? Most owners think the staring is forward-pointed. Eyes on the food, eyes on the fork, eyes following the meal. Watch closer next time. A lot of goldens are looking at your face, not your plate. That subtle shift in eye line is the whole story. They're not tracking the food. They're tracking you. Quick pause here, because the next 3 reasons are the ones that tend to get people right in the chest. If your golden has ever watched you with that quiet, gentle attention while you eat, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It's the one thing that keeps these videos coming, and the heaviest reasons are still ahead. All right,
Because once you realize they're watching you and not the meal, the next reason flips the way you read that stare entirely. And number 4 is the first one that turns begging into something a lot more beautiful. Number 4, look at how your golden actually behaves while they stare. They don't paw at the table, they don't bark, they don't try to jump up and grab, they just sit, quietly, at a respectful distance, with their eyes up and their body still. Ask yourself something. What would a greedy, demanding animal really look like? Because that isn't it. What you're watching is something much closer to the dog version of good manners. Most Goldens have figured out, over a lifetime of meals, that calm and quiet is the version of themselves that gets to be near the table.
So they've shaped their whole approach around it. The stare is what's left when every other less polite option has been edited out. They've learned that pawing gets pushed away, that barking gets a sharp word, that stealing gets the dog crated. But sitting and watching gets to stay. It gets to be in the room. It gets to be near you. So the look you're seeing isn't a beggar at a chair. It's a dog who has worked out the rules of your home and chosen the most respectful way to be present. There is real restraint in that stillness, and most owners walk right past it because they're focused on what the dog wants. Try looking at it from the other direction. Your Golden is a fairly powerful animal that could, if they wanted, snatch the food off your plate in under a second. They don't. Day after day, meal after meal, they choose not to. And that choice is them honoring your boundaries and choosing the version of contact you allow. That is the opposite of greedy. That is one of the quietest kinds of love a dog can show. And it leads us straight into number 3, which lifts the meaning of the stare into something almost ceremonial. Number 3. Now stop and think about how many of these stares you have actually shared with your Golden. Every breakfast, every dinner, every quick snack at the counter, every Sunday meal, every plate eaten in front of the television.
If you multiply it out, you and your dog have repeated this moment thousands of times over the years. And dogs are deeply, deeply pattern-driven creatures. Repetition is how they build the structure of their world. So what started as instinct, way back, has grown over time into something else for your Golden. It has become a ritual, a specific, treasured ritual that belongs to just the two of you. Their place at your feet, the exact spot they pick, the way they settle in, the particular rhythm of how you eat and how they wait. None of that is random. All of it has been hand-shaped, meal by meal, into a small ceremony of togetherness that is theirs. A lot of Goldens get visibly bothered when this routine breaks. Eat at a different time? They're confused. Eat standing up? They follow. Eat in a different room? They reposition. Skip a meal entirely? They linger by the empty spot, because their part of the ritual was supposed to happen and didn't. People sometimes call this stubbornness. It isn't. It's a dog protecting a small, sacred ritual that means something to them, even if it's just an everyday thing to you. The stare you see at every meal isn't your Golden waiting for food. It's your Golden honoring a private daily tradition you two have written together, without ever putting it into words. And once you see it that way, the next layer becomes obvious, because the ritual isn't really about the meal at all. And number 2 is where the curtain drops. Number 2.
Pull all of what we've said so far together. They show up for the pack ritual. They want to be in the moment, not in the meal. They watch your face instead of your plate. They've practiced the most respectful version of being there. They've built a small, sacred routine around the spot at your feet. So what is the stare actually asking for? The plate, the fork, the food, those are the props. The stare is asking for you, not your dinner. You. Your nearness, your stillness, your eyes when they meet theirs. The simple, profound fact that you are present and they are present, and you are sharing this little patch of time together. To your Golden, the food on your plate is just the reason the moment exists. You are the moment itself. And there is something quietly devastating about that once you see it. Because if you've ever felt guilty for not sharing your food, you've been answering a question your dog wasn't asking. The bite of chicken doesn't matter to them. The fact that you looked down, met their eyes, said their name, that does. That's what they came for. That's what they hold on to. Most owners spend years thinking their dog wants the meal. The truth is so much warmer. Your dog wants the meal time. They want the chair. They want the chair having you in it. They want the half hour they get to sit at your feet and be reminded over and over that you are still here.
Hold on to that, because it's exactly what number 1 is built from.
And number 1 is the one I promised at the start. Once you understand it, you'll never feel that stare across the table the same way again. Number 1. Everything we've talked about, the instinct, the inclusion, the watching, the politeness, the ritual, the asking for you instead of the food, all of it folds into one truth. Your golden stare during your meals is them telling you day after day that you are the favorite part of their day. Think about how that lines up with their life. A golden's hours are made of small repeated moments: a walk, a nap, a greeting, a look. The few minutes you spend over a meal are one of those small moments, and somewhere along the way, your golden marked it in their heart as one of the best ones, not because food is being eaten, because you are sitting still in one place with them. There aren't many times in a day when that happens. You're up, you're moving, you're at work, you're on a phone, but at meals, you stop, you sit, you belong to them for a little while. So they show up early, they take their place, they watch every second of it, because as far as they're concerned, this is one of the moments their whole day is built around. Now sit with the part that catches people, because if you've loved one of these dogs long enough, you already know it's coming. There will be a day, years from now, when your golden is old. Their hips will be tired. Their hearing will be soft. Some days they won't bother getting up for things they used to run toward. But so many old goldens still drag themselves to your feet at every single meal, slow and stiff and determined, because that ritual is one of the last things they hold on to. And then one day, they won't come. And owners will tell you that the first meal you eat alone with an empty spot where your golden used to sit and stare is the moment it finally hits you what that look was always saying. It was never about the food. It was about you. It was about being chosen for one more moment, one more day, one more meal. That stare across the table was a love letter, written every single time you sat down to eat, and you didn't have to share a single bite to be the answer to what they were asking. So the next time your golden settles at your feet while you eat and just watches you, take a second. Remember number 7, that they're not begging. They're showing up for an ancient ritual. Remember the asking for inclusion in the moment, the close watching of your face, the quiet politeness of how they wait, the small, sacred routine the two of you have built without words, and the simple fact that what they want isn't your food at all. It's you. And remember number 1, that every one of those stares is the same dog telling you that this small half hour with you is one of the favorite parts of their day. You don't have to do anything different about it. Just look back next time.
Meet their eyes for 1 second. Let them know you noticed. If this changed the way you see that stare even a little, then you made it all the way to the end. And the people who watch all the way through are the ones who truly love their dogs. That's you. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, where I break down what your golden is really doing when they follow you from room to room, even into the bathroom, because that one isn't only about love either. Take good care of that golden of yours. I'll see you soon.